There was a man who ruled the most powerful empire in the world. He commanded armies. He decided the fate of nations. He held more power than almost any human in history. And every night, before he slept, he wrote in a private journal. Not about strategy, not about power, not about the empire, about his own mind. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and what he wrote was never meant to be read by anyone. It was written only for himself. As a reminder, a quiet conversation with his own thoughts in the dark. He was a Stoic, not Stoic in the way people use the word today, meaning cold, meaning unfeeling, but Stoic in the original sense. A person who has learned to distinguish between what is in their control and what is not, and who has found peace not by controlling more, but by needing to control less. This is the teaching for tonight. You do not control what happened today. It is done. You do not control what will happen tomorrow. It has not arrived. What you have is this moment, this breath, this body lying still in the dark. And Marcus Aurelius, who commanded the world, understood something most people miss. That this moment, right here, is enough. He wrote to himself again and again, in different ways, the same essential truth. You have everything you need right now. The obstacle is not outside you. The obstacle is the belief that things should be other than they are. Think about what keeps you awake. Not the thing itself, but the thought about the thing. The replay, the what if, the if only. Marcus Aurelius faced real obstacles. Plague that killed millions, war on multiple fronts, betrayal from those he trusted, the weight of an empire on his shoulders every single day. And still he wrote, "Do not indulge in thoughts that add to your difficulties. Most of what we suffer in imagination. Not because the difficulties are not real, but because the mind takes real difficulties and multiplies them, plays them forward, plays them backward, adds new versions, new outcomes, new fears. And all of this happens at night, when there is nothing left to distract from it." But Marcus Aurelius offers something different. Not a solution, not an answer, a question. He asked himself every night, is this within my control? If yes, do what needs to be done. If no, release it completely. That is the whole practice. Not complicated, not requiring years of training. Just one question, asked honestly, in the dark. Is this within my control? Most of what keeps us awake at night is not within our control. The thing that was said, the decision that was made, the outcome that is uncertain, the person who may or may not respond, the future that has not yet formed. None of it is within your control right now. Right now, in this moment, in this bed, in this dark. None of it. And Marcus Aurelius would say, then release it. Not because it does not matter, but because holding it changes nothing and costs you everything. The quality of your sleep, the restoration of your body, the clarity of your mind tomorrow. All of it is the cost of holding what cannot be held. He wrote, confine yourself to the present. Just the present. Not tomorrow's meeting, not yesterday's conversation, not the version of events that might happen in 3 weeks. Just this breath, this body, this moment. And in the present moment, right now, you are safe. You are lying down. You are breathing. Your body is warm. In this exact moment, nothing is required of you. This is the Stoic teaching that Marcus Aurelius returned to every night. Not as philosophy, but as practice. A way of releasing the day, of coming back to what is real, of letting the mind rest from its endless work of managing the unmanageable. You are not required to solve tonight what belongs to tomorrow. You are not required to carry what is already past. Confine yourself to the present. And in the present, rest is possible. In the present, the body knows what to do. In the present, you are enough. Let that be the first thing that settles tonight. Just the present. Just this. Marcus Aurelius understood something about the mind that most people discover too late. That the mind is a tool. A powerful one. But a tool that, without direction, turns against its owner. Left to itself at night, the mind does not rest. It works. It searches. It evaluates. It prepares for threats that may never arrive. And this is not a flaw. This is ancient programming. The same programming that kept our ancestors alive in uncertain times. But Marcus Aurelius saw through it clearly. He wrote, "The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What he means is this. The very resistance you feel tonight, the very difficulty of lying still, the very noise of the mind that will not quiet, these are not obstacles to rest. They are the path to it. Because when you stop fighting them, when you stop trying to push them away, when you simply allow them to be there without adding more resistance, they begin to lose their intensity. The obstacle becomes the way. He also wrote something that sounds almost too simple. Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. And applied to sleep, it becomes. Waste no more time arguing with your mind about whether you should be asleep. Simply be here. Not performing sleep. Not forcing sleep. Not monitoring whether sleep is happening. Just being here. Present. Still. Breathing. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome for nearly 20 years. Through plague and war and political crisis. And every morning he began by reminding himself of one thing. At dawn, when you rise reluctantly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being. But before the dawn, before the rising, before the work, there is the night. And the night has its own purpose. Restoration. The body repairing what the day broke. The mind processing what the day brought. The nervous system returning to its natural state of calm. This is not laziness. This is the necessary complement to all that effort. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He did not see rest as weakness. He saw it as preparation. And tonight, this rest is your preparation. For whatever tomorrow holds. For the work of being human that begins again at dawn. But right now, the work is this. To lie still. To breathe. To allow the night to do what it was designed to do. Marcus Aurelius wrote often about nature. About how everything in nature follows its purpose without resistance. The sun does not hesitate to rise. The river does not question its path to the sea. The season does not argue with what it is required to become. And he asked himself, why do I resist what I am designed for? You were designed for this. For rest. For restoration. for the quiet hours of recovery that make everything else possible. Your body knows this. It is already moving toward it. The breathing is already slowing. The muscles are already releasing. The alertness is already softening at the edges. You do not have to make this happen. You only have to stop preventing it. Stop preventing it with thoughts that belong to tomorrow. Stop preventing it with replays of what already happened. Stop preventing it with the demand that sleep arrive differently than it does. Simply allow what is already happening. The body returning to its natural state. The mind releasing its grip on the day. The night doing exactly what it has always done. Quietly, steadily, without asking for your permission. Marcus Aurelius ended many of his private reflections with a return to simplicity, to the recognition that beneath all the complexity of ruling an empire, beneath all the decisions and the weight and the responsibility, there was something very basic. A man, breathing, present, in this moment. And that was enough. It is enough for you tonight too. Just a person, breathing, present, in this moment. That is all that is required. That is all that is real. Rest now. The empire of tomorrow can wait. Tonight, this moment is enough. There is one more teaching from Marcus Aurelius that belongs to the night. It is perhaps the simplest and the hardest to truly receive. He wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Not control over outside events. Power over your mind." This is the distinction that changes everything. Most anxiety comes from confusing these two things. From believing that if you think about something long enough and hard enough and carefully enough, you can control how it turns out. But Marcus Aurelius, who had more power over outside events than almost anyone in history, knew that this was not where peace lived. Peace lived in the mind, in how the mind related to what was happening, not in the events themselves. And at night, this becomes the only thing that matters. Because at night, you cannot act on outside events. You cannot make calls or send messages or solve problems. You can only be with your mind. And how you are with your mind determines everything. Marcus Aurelius practiced something he called the view from above. Imagining himself rising high enough to see his situation from a distance. From that height, the things that seemed urgent began to look small. The problems that felt enormous began to have proportion. The fears that consumed him began to settle into their actual size. Try this now. Not dramatically, not with effort, just gently. Whatever is in your mind right now, whatever is still active, still circling, still demanding attention. Rise above it slightly, not to escape it, but to see it from a little further away. This concern, in the context of your whole life, how large is it really? This worry, in the context of all the worries you have survived before, how permanent does it feel now? This uncertainty, in the context of all the uncertainty you have already lived through, how insurmountable does it seem? Marcus Aurelius practiced this not to minimize his difficulties, but to restore their actual proportion. Because the mind at night inflates. It takes the real and makes it larger. It takes the possible and makes it certain. It takes tomorrow and makes it feel like now. The view from above simply restores reality. And from that restored reality, something very quiet becomes visible. That you have been here before, in beds just like this one, with minds just like this one, with concerns that felt just as large. And morning came. Always. Morning came. Marcus Aurelius lost much in his life. He lost children. He lost friends. He lost the health of his empire to plague. And still, every morning, he rose and wrote his quiet words to himself and returned to what was true. That this moment is manageable. That this breath is enough. That the mind, given permission to rest, will rest. He wrote at the end of one of his reflections, "It is not death that a man should fear. He should fear never beginning to live." And living, truly living, includes this: the ability to stop, to let the day end, to release what the night does not need. You are alive right now, in this body, in this breath, in this moment that will not come again. And Marcus Aurelius would say, do not waste it in unnecessary suffering. Do not spend this precious present moment fighting what is already past, or dreading what has not yet arrived. Confine yourself to the present, and in the present, there is only this: a body at rest, a breath moving in and out, a mind finally, gently letting the day go. The Stoics believed that every evening was a small practice of acceptance, of releasing the day completely, of trusting that what needed to happen had happened, and what needed to come would come, without your constant mental supervision. Trust that now. What needed to happen today has happened. You do not need to review it further. You do not need to improve it in your mind. It is done. And what needs to come tomorrow will come, whether you worry about it or not, whether you plan it or not, whether you lie awake rehearsing it or not. It will come, and you will meet it, as you have always met what came before, with whatever you had, and it was enough. It has always been enough. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, private man, quiet writer in the dark, ended his days the same way you are ending yours. Lying down, breathing, releasing the weight, returning to what was simple and true. You have power over your mind, and right now, your mind can rest. Give it permission. Release the day. Let the night do what it was made for. And sleep. Good night.